Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, good afternoon and good morning to some of you. My name is Dawn Rem. I'm the director of our practice management department here at Key Management Group, and today's discussion is going to be on our collaborative learning series. This is an introduction to most of you. To some it is a repeat because we have had 2 sessions where we've had beta test practices to provide feedback and improve this series. Just 1 second, please. For those of you that are not aware of the practices that we work with, we thought a map would be fun for you to see, as this series is based on collaboration. And with the collaboration, you're going to be speaking to practices across the country. And so we put this fun map together for you to see where each of you are located. As you can see, all the way West Coast to East Coast there. And a little picture of myself if you've never met me before. First, we're going to go through the outline of what you can expect from this presentation today. First is, what is CLS? A testimonial from one of our practices during the beta test groups. The CLS objectives, benefits, all about content experts, the class calendar, how to sign up, and attendance. So what is CLS? As you know, for those of you that have worked with Key Management Group for some time, or even some of the newer practices, we like to use a lot of acronyms. So when you hear us refer to the CLS, we're referring to the Collaborative Learning Series. The Collaborative Learning Series are classes held on topics relevant to the work that you do. So these are specific to your responsibilities. They will be hosted by members of the practice management team, so not just from me, but from the other coaches as well in the team. It is offered to all of our practice management clients and staff. They're held up to an hour in length and using this GoToWebinar webinar software. We thought you'd like to hear from one of our participants in the previous sessions, one specifically, Georgia Smiley, who is a client service manager for Phil Smiley and Associates. Georgia said, "I like this series because it gives me the opportunity to hear how my peers are doing things. It feels like we live in our own bubble, and the classes help us hear how others go through these processes." And we heard that from many participants over the past 2 sessions, so we thought that you'd like to hear how this collaboration may be beneficial to you. Our 3 main objectives is to review important topics. And these are important topics, as I mentioned, relevant to your own responsibilities, including both new and refresher courses. We're going to share common successes, problems, and processes with one another. As you saw and heard from Georgia, she was able to hear from other practices, not just from Key Management Group and the practice management team. The last objective is to create a sense of community. You are each other's best resource because you are in the field and we're not. So the benefits. The idea is that you'll get new and get ideas, maybe not new, but hear that what you're doing may be the same as someone else, or that what you're doing is different, and that it may be you're discovering a new process. You're going to learn process changes through our content experts, which I'll speak to in just a few minutes here. You'll be able to hear how we as in Key Management Group, may have altered our best practice resource based on a process that a client is doing that is more efficient and or effective than what our best practice resource has stated in the past. It's where we'll brainstorm improvements together by asking questions and speaking to and discussing scenarios. And then the courses will be saved for your resource. So we're recording each of these classes and putting them on our YouTube channel for you to review in the future if you'd like to recap what was discussed, and or if you were unable to attend a specific class that you were interested in, you'll be able to watch that replay. The way that the Collaborative Learning Series is set up is in sessions. And each session, there will be a specific amount of classes where we hold the classes. We really are just facilitating these classes. We're not dictating in these classes. You are an active participant in the group discussions. Our content experts are nominated to share their effective methods. And we do discuss our best practice methods in comparison at time to that content expert if we've chosen not to update our best practice recommendations based on the content expert. Because we do want you to know that though we consider our processes and procedures to be best practice, there are other ways to do things. So what is a content expert? As you can see in this picture here, this could be you. This could be anyone in any one of our practice management client practices. We will nominate you as part of a group discussion that we have here internally if we believe that you have what it takes to discuss your process. For instance, your scheduling process. If we believe that you are either following our best practice model or are following our best practice model and maybe adding a preference piece that we would like to share with others, we will ask you to participate as the content expert. Here's what's expected of you if nominated as a content expert. There will be an initial phone meeting with a practice management team member, typically the team member that will be facilitating the course. You will be asked to answer interview-type questions, sharing the process that you use for that topic at hand. And then we do ask that you be okay with speaking about your process to the class. And we have had experience where you may not be comfortable sharing yourself, and so we can share for you, but have you there as a shoulder to lean on if we have any questions or if the class has any questions for you. And that's typically easier for some and are okay with accepting that nomination if we choose, if we help out. So the communication with the expert looks like this. We'll email the expert of our choice. The expert may decline, so know that you can decline, and we'll move on to the next. We'll conduct that phone interview. After that phone interview is where we'll, as a team, as a practice management team, we'll decide if our best practice resource needs to be updated. So sometimes, and this has happened over the past year, we found that our content expert has a streamlined system in place that will encourage us to change our resource. And so if we need to change our resource, we will do so. And we'll ask for you as the expert to approve the content of what we're going to present during that Collaborative Learning Series class. Here is what the calendar of topics will look like for this session. So this is session 3. Each year may be a little different. So speaking to session 3, in April, we'll be holding a class on the semi-annual projects. For those of you that are familiar with the semi-annual projects, that's something that we recommend in April and October. And so we're going to be presenting that to you in advance of the request so that you can see firsthand how to complete those. We'll discuss the group service frequency in April. In May, we'll cover the themed meeting approach, the CMOT, or Client Meeting Outcome Tracker, the weekly recap meeting. In June, we'll cover the client experience, business processing, and client meeting follow-up. In July, we're going to discuss the systematic payout tracking tool. This tends to be one of our more controversial tracking tools, and so we'd like you to hear from those that are using it if you're interested in picking it back up. Future assets and total view. And in the past, we've had Shane Harvey, our director of the outsourcing department, join us for this as we discuss total view. The SPS deliverable process is, I just want you to note, the deliverable itself is not needed, but we'll be discussing more specifically the managed accounts. Financial planning department and helping with the financial planning analysis. In August, archiving tracking tools, non-outsourced client meeting prep, and the best practice for that if you're not outsourcing it. And then lastly, return mail versus business processing. And I do want to make a note here that I am going to hold return mail versus business processing in March. So later this month, if you are interested in that, I'll show you how to sign up here in just a minute. So we'll technically be covering that topic 2 times in this session. And then lastly, based on your needs, we will be adding topics to each of these sessions as time goes on. We'll be looking to send out a survey. As all of our clients are now participating and invited to participate in these classes, we want to ask all of our clients what topics would be beneficial to them. So here's how to sign up. There are going to be reminder emails with the direct links to the classes sent 1 and 2 weeks in advance of each class. But I want you to note that we don't want you to have to wait 1 or 2 weeks prior to the class. So we've included the classes, the entire class schedule is in Turnkey Solutions. So under Connect Turnkey Solutions, there is a calendar called Upcoming Events. And for those of you that have not seen this calendar in Turnkey Solutions, it is on the right side of the screen, and there is an icon for the calendar. If you go to this calendar immediately after this class, you will see all of the dates and times that the classes will be held, because we have already scheduled those in. If you open up the calendar entry, you will be able to click on the link to register. So note, you have to register for the class in order to be a part of that class. I encourage you not to wait till the day of, because as part of the collaboration, we do like to include you in the introduction where we get to know each other. And then the last topic here before I open the lines up for questions is regarding attendance. And so I'd like to discuss the attendance here without there being any sense of need, meaning there is no need for you to attend these classes. We will, however, take attendance automatically through the GoToWebinar software. And it is used internally for our reference so that if there is a topic that we believe a client of ours should be a part of, we'd like to see if he or she participated in that course. Or at times we may guide you to a course based on a topic that we've discussed in an individual production meeting, so a one-on-one meeting or even a team meeting, that will encourage you to be a part of that class. Again, we'll want to be able to see that you participated. All right, now we're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines for any questions that you may have. And if you're not comfortable asking your question here in front of the group, there is a question pane at the bottom of the GoToWebinar dialog box where you can type in your questions. It's okay. The phone lines are now open if you have any questions. One member asked if all team members were going to be invited, and the answer is yes. My distribution list, so our distribution list for the Collaborative Learning Series, it now includes every staff member and advisor for each practice that we work with, practice management practices only. So if it's an outsourcing client only, those clients are not included. All right, so it doesn't appear that there are any other additional questions. So I'm going to go ahead and end the presentation now, but note that if you do have any additional questions that you would like to ask, I would be happy to answer them. And any member of the practice management team can also answer those questions for you. You will be sent a survey after this presentation, not directly after, but tomorrow you'll receive a survey. If you could please answer those questions. We'd love to hear from you. And hopefully the next time that we speak to one another, it will be during the next